Welcome to With the First Pick. We're going team by team to a perfect 7-round mock draft. Who is on the clock today? Breaking down the Los Angeles Rams, their biggest needs, best fits, and sleeper picks that could make their draft. By the time we're done, you'll have a complete blueprint for how they can dominate the draft weekend. It's time to get on the clock. Let's build a perfect draft for the old LA Rams. That's Josh Edwards. I'm Ryan Wilson. Josh, they have pick 26, and then they have 7 picks after that. And typically, cornerback has been a need here. That feels like a pretty obvious one here. They also have need a linebacker, offensive line, tight end, wide receiver as we get through the process here. But as we sit here at pick 26, they have some choices. I mean, why is Colston Loveland still on the board? And that, as I mentioned, it's not a dire need to have Tyler Higbee, Colby Parkinson on the depth chart, but sweet mercy alive. If you're bringing back Matthew Stafford, I guess you're having that conversation before you make a pick?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's pretty simple with the board that we're looking at. I think it's Colston Loveland. This is a team that explored the possibility of moving up last year for Brock Bowers. I think adding a tight end with that type of playmaking ability just gives you another explosive element to, Sean McVay's offense. So that would be the direction that I went. It is incredibly intriguing to take a guy like Luther Burden III and put him in that offense, but they have invested in Tutu Atwell and now Devontae Adams. So I think tight end is a little bit of a bigger need, and he represents a higher value for me on my board.
Agreed with all that. And by the way, I think for me, Colston Loveland might come closer to replacing Cooper Kupp's productivity in year one than Luther Burden. It just feels like he can come and hit the ground running and dominate. And he sort of dominated last year when Luther Burden didn't, even though both guys were not playing with everything health-wise or productivity-wise at quarterback. Yeah, for sure. All right. Going to repeat the mantra, producer striker. Don't overthink it. Colston Loveland it is, man. Yes, sir. All right, next up. Pick 90. What we got here? So, should we check out cornerback or where shall we start?
I think cornerback would be the biggest priority for this team. Linebacker is another consideration.
So they have Darius Williams, they have Akello Witherspoon, and they have Quentin Lake at nickelback. So, again, at pick 90, it thins out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is something where we want to wait. If we want to take Noel Williams, who I think this is around the range I would take him, late third, early fourth, or if you want to look to another position, Josh.
Yeah, let's look at best player available. We do have a pick at 101 as well, so I'm curious to see just if we can get better value here. I mean, I think they need linebacker help.
Yeah, let's take a look at linebacker. I mean, that's another
call from Ole Miss there.
Yeah, Poop Hall feels like, and this is right around the range I have him going as well. He's not only incredibly athletic, like all these off-ball linebackers are these days, he will take on blocks inside, get off blocks, and get to the ball in the run game. And I think that's incredibly valuable when you sort of stack them up against all these other off-ball linebackers who are incredibly fast and sideline-to-sideline guys. I'm fine with Poop Hall here. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I'm a little hesitant just because I don't know if the Rams would take a linebacker this early in the draft, but I think he's good value. I think it's a position of need. So for the sake of the conversation, let's go with Poop Hall here.
Yeah, it's pick 90 as well. So, I mean, at some point you got to make it happen. And they have a ton of – and it could be a situation where, as you noted before we started, they have 4 6-round picks. They might package some of those to move up and get one of these players to fill a position of need. All right, Josh, at pick 101, another name that just slaps me in the face, your guy Deion Walker out of Kentucky. If he's still sitting there and you feel like you can get the most out of his talents after a down 2024, he had a pretty good 2023, that would be a consideration for me. Isaiah Bond is sitting there, and I think Isaiah Bond issue isn't on the field. There are going to be some maturity questions about him. Isaac TeSlaa is still sitting there, who I love, and he feels like the perfect sort of Sean McVay / Matthew Stafford chess piece you would have. So there's a lot to choose from here. Now, we're not addressing the cornerback position But we can look. Let's look at corner real quick, striker, because that is obviously a need, and you would like to get that sorted at some point. Noah Williams is still there. So I'll ask you, if we were choosing between Noah Williams and Deontay Walker, for example, at pick 101, and we do have pick 127, what would you think made the most sense given the depth around those guys?
Given the depth that we're looking at here, Deion Walker, I think he's a better value as well. So although it's not a bigger need than cornerback, I still think we can get a quality player at cornerback with 127. So yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to be pretty headstrong on a cornerback here, but
Yeah.
just the way the board played out, I think Deion Walker is somebody that they would have to consider.
So they have Braden Fisk, last year's second-round pick, fantastic player. Kobe Turner, third-round pick from the year before. Then they have Poona Ford as the nose tackle. So they do need some help on inside, some depth, and I'm sort of leaning that way. Does Isaiah Bond do anything for you, or would you again? Deion Walker makes more sense since we already have Colston Loveland.
Yeah, Isaiah Bond was the other player that kind of stuck out to me, but Deion Walker's just a little higher rated on my board. So that's probably the direction I would go.
All right, Deion Walker it is. Sean McVay gets the most out of him, and it's another insane athlete on the defensive side of the ball in the last few draft classes for the LA Rams. And let's see who's still here. So Tesla still there. Billy Bowman, it's a good safety out of Oklahoma, still available. Noah Williams is still there. Do you want to get our guy Noah Williams finally?
Yeah, let's do it. We've talked about it for 3 picks. Let's take him here.
He had a good Shrine Bowl. I think he had an interception against Cam in the matchup against the U. He's a physical guy, and again,
he's just a smart player.
Yeah, a lot of folks aren't talking about him because he went to Cal, but he's going to be a good football player. All right, check the box for defensive back. Let's see where we go from here. Kyle McCord, I don't want to take him because he would be day one starter. I don't want to put that pressure on Matthew Stafford. I want to make sure Matthew Stafford gets into the Hall of Fame. What else are we looking at here? So we can't have this conversation, though, all kidding aside. Kyle McCord, Tyler Shuck, you do need a plan B behind Kyle McCord, behind Matthew Stafford. And I don't think it's Stetson Bennett or Jimmy G, short-term or long-term. So at pick 190, I mean, this doesn't feel like an overdraft. This is the 6th round. Do you want to take a flyer on Kyle McCord or Tyler Shuck, neither of whom will probably be there in real life?
I think Kyle McCord is more likely to be in this range. You and I are not as aligned. High on Tyler Shuck as a lot of people seem to be, but I think the consensus is that he is going to be taken somewhere on day 2. So I think Kyle McCord is a little bit more realistic, and I do like the idea of taking a quarterback here to back up Matthew Stafford.
And
we have 4 picks.
And I feel like Kyle McCord might be a better fit for Sean McVay. Just, I don't know. We'll see. He's here. Let's take him. Kyle McCord it is. New Jersey's own. All right. We have 3 more 6th-round picks. I'm laughing because Tyler Shuck is still there as well. We can just keep getting the quarterbacks till we get it right in the post-Matthew Stafford world. So, how about offensive line? Just see if we have some depth there, producer Striker. Just see what we're working with. Because we have tight end. We got the wide receivers also consideration, I guess. I like Miles Frazier at LSU, Josh, just in terms of adding depth. Clay Webb, we talk a lot about. Any other position you want to look at if you're not blown away by
those two would be the primary. I mean, I would consider double dipping at corner, but I'm a Jackson Slater guy. I have been since prior to the college football season.
Let's go with Jackson Slater.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with him here in this range.
Let's go with Jackson Slater, guard out of Sacramento State, I believe. All right. 2 more picks to go, both in the 6th round. Konate Mumpfield didn't run fast at all. Neither did Puka Nacua. He's a really good receiver.
Yeah.
The comp I had for him was Deontay Johnson in terms of the way he ran routes. And I talked to Konate at the Shrine Bowl, and he told me a story where his mom was watching the Steelers a few years ago, and she said, that guy runs just like you. It was Deontay Johnson. So that's the one time I've gotten a comp right. That made me feel pretty good. And I think Deontay ran like a 4.51 too. So it wasn't like he was a burner coming out of college. But what do you want to do here, Josh? We have 2 picks left, and we can go in any direction.
Yeah, wide receiver would be a consideration. I'm curious to see which cornerbacks are still on the board as well. It's always the same players that are available.
Tommy Hill's a big corner. Yeah, Tommy Hill's a big corner. He doesn't look particularly fast. I'm curious about Fentrell Cypress, who ran well at his pro day. He's a guy that could end up being a sort of a sleeper. James Marshall Jr. actually like out of Florida as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if any of those guys fit the bill.
I think Jason Marshall Jr. from Florida is a Sean McVay type of corner because he's got that pedigree. He, I think he was a former 5-star recruit. Very productive early in his career at Florida, similar to a Darian Kendrick that they took out of Georgia. So I think that sounds right for the Rams, and to double dip at a position of need. If you can just come away with one starter out of those 2 players, you're doing well for yourself. So I think Jason Marshall Jr. is the direction I would go.
Yeah, played mostly outside. You're correct. A 5-star coming out of high school. Got hurt halfway through the season, ended his season, but he's played a lot of football. So yeah, I'm all on board with Jason Marshall Jr. One more pick to go here.
Your guy Mumpfield.
Let's take Mumpfield here in the 6th round. This is probably the range he comes off, maybe 6th or 7th round pick. But if you like him, you feel like there's a need for him. They do have Jordan Whittingham from a year ago, who was pretty productive as I believe, a 7th round pick. So they can certainly find these guys. But I think I like this draft. At the top, Colston Loveland. He was just sitting there, had to take him. As Josh pointed out, they did try to trade for Brock Bowers. So there's a need of sorts there for Matthew Stafford. Colston Loveland. Next up, Pooh Paul, linebacker. Need help there. Deion Walker still sitting there, the defensive lineman out of Kentucky. So add another explosive defender to the front 7. Noah Williams, the physical cornerback out of Cal. Kyle McCord. Is he the future in LA after Matthew Stafford retires? Jackson Slater adds some depth along the offensive line out of Sacramento State. Jason Marshall Jr., Florida corner, and then Konate Mumpfield, wide receiver out of Pitt, wraps things up. And that wraps up the Perfect Rams draft class. Make sure to subscribe to NFL on CBS on YouTube and download With the First Pick wherever you get your podcasts. Stay tuned for more Perfect Mock Drafts because we are hitting all 32 teams.